Hello guys, and welcome to another day with Zimaleta. In today's video I would like to talk about Expedite and Expedite pricing in particular. Guys, I just got a call today from one of my friends. They pretty much they run a little small trucking company. They're bidding on loads and stuff, and he's okay with me telling you guys this. One of the things that he mentioned is the freight prices has went up for trucks, and they're basically bidding loads $200 to $300 above the asking price for trucks. So this is something interesting that is going on. So right now, of course, you know, the truckers, they have electronic logbooks, and because they have electronic logbooks, there's obviously they're gonna be sleeping for like 10 hours instead of 3 hours now per night. So they're gonna be a little bit more well rested, but also that means there's a lot less of them on the road getting, trying to get loaded, because they're already loaded. They're sleeping somewhere, trying to get the load there and stuff. So that is actually pretty interesting if you think about it. That really adds up. So it was probably not that noticeable to begin with, but it's a lot noticeable now. I mean, if you think about it, like a truck gets loaded, he's got to drive somewhere, let's say like 3,000 miles. Well, he can't do it like he used to do it and just say, look, I'm just going to drink a bunch of energy drinks and coffee and I'm going to get the load there. Maybe get 2 hours of sleep doing it in the process. Trying to drive a load, 2,700 miles, it's no small feat. You would have to take at least, break for 2 hours every 900 miles to feel a little bit intact. But because they have to sleep 10 hours a day, man, that really adds up. So that means he's got to, drive for 11 hours, sleep for 10, and it's going to take a lot longer for him to deliver that load. So if you think about it, so in the beginning when the stuff starts being implemented and stuff, it's still a slow curve and stuff. But as this continues, warehouses, they're going to have a lot more supply sitting in the warehouses. They need to ship this stuff out. And the longer this goes on, and this has been going on, I think, like a couple months now, since they have to drive with electronic logbooks. So now it's beginning to be noticeable. There's a lot more loads now than there used to be. So the prices of loads are going up. And that is a good thing. That is a great thing. What does it mean for us Expediters? Well, it means the same thing. There's going to be a lot more LTL loads. That means less than truck freight. So possibly we might get a little bit of a kickback from that. Here's what I've noticed with me, guys. I have certain goals and plans set for when I go expediting. I already know how much money I'm going to make in advance, according to my previous analytics. But I'm way ahead of those numbers, guys. I'm doing way better than I was. And I'm sleeping. That's the thing. I'm sleeping. I'm not doing it like I used to do it. Like when I used to just get a load and drive 1,400 miles with no sleep. No, I sleep now. I actually take breaks. And it used to be that companies would not allow you to sleep. You said, no, straight through. Go there. But I guess with all the, cracking down and stuff with trucks, expediting companies, they're trying to be careful as well. They're not trying to tell drivers to drive. As a matter of fact, they're telling us not to text and drive, like to try to like give them updates. They said, when you're fueling up or whatever, you make a stop, then text us, because they're trying to make it safer, for drivers and stuff, so they're not going to get distracted, cause an accident, and then blame it on the company that they were maybe responding, or maybe that they had to actually make it somewhere. Guys, a while back, there was this one story. There was a driver working for Nations Express, which they've been bought out by Load One now, but long time ago. This guy was driving a load, and he was really tired. He got a load that was like, he was going far somewhere. He was really tired, and he told the company, he says, look, I need to get some sleep. No, you can't sleep. You got to get the load there. You got to go. Well, he was driving, guys, and he fell asleep, and he really totaled the van. He totaled himself. Basically, he can't walk anymore. It's a sad story. But because they had workman's comp and everything, because Nations Express, they made you to get everything. They made you get workman's comp from them, all their insurances and stuff like that. Now this guy is getting paid every single week or whatever he was getting paid. I think workman's comp, they sort of like match that, whatever you used to get paid or something at that point, you know, whatever. But basically, after that fact, this played a big part with every single company. I think other companies got wind of the story and they started telling guys that, look, if you need to sleep, pull over and get some sleep. You know, they're trying to be reasonable, you know, make sure you don't, you know, sleep too much to where you're going to be like really late, or, you know, sleep at least 2 to 3 hours, at least, you know, to try to refresh yourself a little bit. Because guys, even 1 hour of sleep plays a big part. It's like 1 hour of sleep is like drinking like 1 cup of coffee. Really. It's surprising, but that's already refreshing. And I think really it's more like 30 minutes. But because, you know, you take into consideration, you might not fall asleep right away. You want to get that REM sleep, you know. But basically, guys, ultimately, this is good news for us because there's going to be a lot more loads. Obviously, I'm staying really busy, guys. I mean, think about this, okay? I just want to also, you know, like help you guys out, like to make these decisions a little bit better. Of course, I work with a company that only pays me 80 cents. I almost got no choice about it. You know, I could leave them and I could go work with another one, but that's for another story. I really like how that company works, so 80 cents is fine for me because they're keeping me busy. I don't have to sit there and wait for loads. So it's really good for me. And I have an old van. Who's going to want to take me with an old van? You know what I mean? A lot of companies, they want vans 5 years old. My van is 12 years old. So I have to basically stick with this. Yeah, sure, there's better choices, and I'll tell you what those are a little bit later on in this video. So what am I really trying to say here? Yes, I'm getting 80 cents, but this company is keeping me so busy that, you know, Laredo, I talk to some of you guys on Laredo sometimes. I really don't get a chance because I usually don't even spend no time in Laredo. I go there and I'm out. You know, that's how it is for me. But some of you guys were telling me, we have to take 65 cents or 60 cents to get out because we're not gonna be able to get out of here. We have to accept like cheap freight out of Laredo. Well, I've been telling you guys, I always take 80 cents out of Laredo. I don't take any less, and I just keep going. And here's my little example, guys. My load, well, let's say right now, it's 12 o'clock in the morning, okay? My load was due today at 10 o'clock. But I had good amount of sleep, and I drove in yesterday at 9 o'clock p.m. local time. I went and I delivered my load. They were open. I delivered it. I went and I took a shower, and after the shower, the company called me up. Well, first I went in the shower, and the company called me up. They said, we have a load for you. You need to drop what you're doing and go. And I'm like, well, do I have time to take a shower? They said, no, you have to go. So I got out of the shower, and because I didn't undress yet, and they called me up. They said, load's canceled. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going back to the shower. So then I took a shower, and I went to my vehicle, and I just sit down. They called me up. They said, are you in the shower? I said, no, I'm behind the steering wheel. And this was at night. This was like 11:30. And they said, we got a load for you to Michigan from Laredo. It's 80 cents, of course. No, not any less. And that's it. I mean, look, guys, it's late. And I got 2 loads, both of them to Michigan. Both of them the same price. So what am I really trying to tell you then? Am I trying to brag and say, oh, I'm doing so well? No, I'm not trying to do that at all. I'm trying to tell you guys that freight out of Laredo, being cheap is a myth. The freights are not cheap. The only people that's making it cheap is the logistics company that you work for, because they're trying to make you think that they're bidding the load for less, and they're really not. They're bidding the load for the same price that they normally bid it for, and they just have you accept, accept less money in the process because they make more money for themselves. So that's why. Sure, maybe there's some honest companies out there. Maybe. I doubt it. Because when there's money involved, you know how it is. Money is the root to all evil. You know, when there's money involved, there's lies, there's cheating, there's divorces when it comes to relationships. It's always money. So when there's money to be made, they're going to be skimming off the top all they can. Just one driver taking 10 cents less per load, the company is making $1,500 on him. So ask yourself, why not? Why would they not do that? If they got 30 drivers, they're making now $45,000 extra because they're skimming off your pay, and you're allowing them to, because they're telling you, oh, we gotta be competitive. We gotta bid for the lowest price because it's Laredo. Do you want to get out? Do you want to sit there for days? But guys, they're just saying that to you because they want to put you in that position to feel that you have to take cheaper freight just so you could get out, just so you could pay your van, because you don't want to be deadheading out on there, because that completely does not make any sense. But really, in reality, they call up the brokers and they're giving them exact same price that they normally will, because next time that broker calls them up or they call the broker's gonna be like, hey, you know, you gave me a cheap price in Laredo, why not give me the cheap price now? So what are they gonna say then? Oh, no, we can't do that. He's like, okay, sorry, I can't work with those prices. You're too expensive. Sure, I understand. There's gonna be cheap brokers out there. But you know, just like I used to talk to this one guy long time ago, like back in 2008, I talked to him. He had a regular Chevy Express van. I come up to him and we're just talking, and he had a big sleeper built in the back. Big sleeper. He had enough room for only one skid. I said, aren't you afraid, you know, you're not gonna get loaded because you only have space for one? He's like, nope. I said, well, you're gonna have a lesser chance of getting out of here. He's like, nope. If there's gonna be a load that's 3 skids, somebody else is gonna take the heavy load. They're gonna pay for the fuel, and next load is gonna be for me. It's gonna be like 1 skid. I'll still get out of here. And he was completely right, because guess what, guys? I'm carrying 1 skid right now. I brought 2 skids down here. Normally, I just carry like 1 skid. And so the guy was living a comfortable style on his printer. He was out. He had a folding out chair. He was sitting there reading a newspaper. He had AC. He had all the amenities of a truck sleeper. And he's just taking one skid, and he's fine. He's completely fine with it. Like, and that made me really think. Like, I'm always competitive. Instead of having a sleeper, I have room for 4 skids. Sure, I get 4 skids occasionally, not all the time. I'm still gonna stay competitive because I still have this mentality that I'm gonna win because, you know, I have more room, and it probably works out for me, you know, from time to time. But guys, what am I really trying to say with all this information? Know what you're worth. Don't take less money unless you really trust your company. Maybe some companies will tell you the truth. I don't know. But I'll tell you this right now. I'm getting ready to become a company. Well, I am a company actually, but I'm getting my authority. I'm working on it now as we speak. And I'm not going to be bidding loads cheaper out of Laredo just because it's Laredo. I don't care about the name. So I'm going to be having my own normal freight price set. I'm not going to be bidding low. I'm not about to, you know, work for less or have my drivers work for less. So I'm going to have to stay competitive with pricing what everybody pays. Because, you know, like, why would you pay, for instance, if you're winning a load for like $1.20, $1.40, which some Expediters are easily doing this, easily. And why would they pay you $1 or more if everybody else is paying less? And the problem is not the expediting companies. The problem is us. If we as Expediters will continue accepting low rates, we're going to continue getting paid low rates. And there's nobody to blame but ourselves. You know, we should at least one day get together on this one little thing and say, look, once a month, we're just going to, like, for instance, just that one day, we'll put the price way up. Put it, well, way up. Put it $1. What you're worth at least. Put it $1. And if company is not going to pay us that, then we're just not going to accept the freight. We'll wait for the $1 load. If we all of us do that, guys, brokers that are paying cheap, they're going to quickly realize they're going to get in trouble because they committed to getting this freight out And unless they get it out for $1 or raise their rates, they're not going to be getting that stuff, expedited and stuff. And I think we have to sometimes come together as a community and say, look, we're not going to drive for less. We're going to drive for $1 because it's expensive. This business is expensive. We're making big money, and you would think I'm complaining. I'm not complaining. I'm making pretty good money. I'm not complaining. But I could be making better money. Why not? If I made extra 20 cents per mile, that could be between $2,000 and $3,000 extra per month. I mean, think about what kind of lifestyle changes you will have with having 20 to 30 cents extra. I mean, 20 cents extra, which would lead to $2,000 to $3,000 more every single month. Think about what kind of lifestyle would you have. Would this really settle some of your bills? Would this maybe help you have a better rent situation or mortgage situation? Or, you'll be able to pay your bills on time now. I mean, just think about that. It's a huge deal. Now, think about this. You know who's paying their stuff on time and living it up? Is the company you're driving it for. Because not only that you are taking money for less, other drivers are too. And that money adds up, guys. If the company has 100,000 drivers and each one of them takes a loss of 10 cents, that's $100,000 per month. Now think about that. The company's boss is going to be driving a Lamborghini for your money, basically. And you're not going to be able to tell the difference because you're thinking, well, I'm only losing 10 cents. I'm only losing, 20 cents. For instance, I'm losing 20 cents. But the company that I work with, they always been cheap. That's the way they were. So not a lot of people could work with them. So when I used to work for 80 cents, I was told by some drivers, oh, you're working for a little, 80 cents. How do you survive? 80 cents. Well, that's nothing. Because they were getting $1. Well, now, I'm telling those drivers that are driving for 65 and 70, why are you driving so cheap? Because then, really, you are not really making good. I'm still making good because I know I don't have no Sprinter payment. I know that I still, and plus, that's even besides the point. I don't have no rent or mortgage. All the money that I'm making, it's all my money, basically. I really don't need to be making as good of a money as I used to need because I don't have those same bills anymore. I cut them out. And I'm working on something bigger. So 80 cents right now, it's not important. What is important is I will be bidding my own loads. That's what's important. And if you stayed this long, here's a little spoiler. I would like as many of us as possible to just open up your own authority, motor carrier authority. It is not difficult to do. If you have your own million liability, 100,000 a cargo, you really don't even need that much. You need about 300,000 liability to try to open up your own authority. So I'm saying if you have $1 million, well, you're overboard anyways. Work on getting your own authority, start bidding your loads, start getting paid fair pricing, and sure, I'm going to be my own company as well, and it might not make any sense to say, why would you want to create all this competition now? I'm not trying to create competition. I'm trying to set drivers free. I'm trying to basically take drivers back 50 years ago when the driver was the owner of his own loads. The driver was bidding his own loads. You might say there was no computers, how would they be bidding loads? Yes, there wasn't, because there was posted notes, basically. It would not be made by posted, but those names, they just picked it up for those load boards. The load board was not electronical. You would go to a truck stop, there would be this board, and that was a load board. That's why they called it a load board. And companies, they knew that that's where the truckers hang out. So they're going to come there, and they're going to have a little piece of paper. Maybe it was a big piece of paper. And they're going to say, we're such and such a company with the phone number, blah, blah, blah. We're going to have 20 loads going to, one we're going to have to California, one we're going to go here, one we're going to go here, one we're going to go here. They're going to put it all down on a piece of paper, and then they'll have little numbers. Remember those that you cut away and you rip it out from the bottom? So they'll tear this little number off, and they go to their trucks and they call up the company. Maybe they use a phone, I don't know. There's probably no cell phones. But maybe they would drive to the company, or, maybe they use a regular type of landline phone. I don't know. Maybe they just use a landline, and they just call up the company and say, hey, you got this load going to California. I want this load. Or I want this load that's going to Pennsylvania or New York, whatever. They're going to say, yep, we still got it. Or maybe that one's taken, but we still have another one going to Michigan. Do you want that? You say, okay, sure, I'll take that one. So you bid your own price on that load, and that was yours. There was no middleman. And what's going on now? We got the company itself. We got the actual broker itself. Broker's basically selling a load to another logistics company. A logistics company sells it to another logistics company. Who knows how many times it was sold before it made it down to you? It's too hard to find out, because, I mean, think about this. There's a load board that's called Selectus, for instance. That Selectus load board itself, I mean, I don't understand what's going on. If this is true, it's beyond me, but I gotta call them up and find out myself. Supposedly they're charging $9,000 just to be on that load board. That is kind of crazy. Now, if that's true, like, what a scam. Like, what a scam. That's just too much. But anyways, even with Selectus, a company would win that load, and sometimes they win a lot of loads. They'll just bid all of them up. And what they do is they start selling these loads to other companies. Because if you guys are an Expediter, you guys know that usually a load shows up and it's gone that same minute. So, like, why not sell loads? Like, why not? That's why they're doing it. It's so easy. So it passes through many hands. Everybody takes a piece of pie. Out of the big piece of pie, we drivers, we're probably getting crumbs. That's the only thing that's left from the big piece of pie. When everybody takes all the piece of pie, we get crumbs. And then you wonder, well, why are we taking all the risk? Why are we buying the sprinters or cargo vans, whatever you guys have? We're making payments on them. We're doing the oil changes, transmission fluid changes, which costing us all this money. We're putting all this money and parts into these sprinters and paying mechanics to try to keep them serviced and stuff like that. And we're away from our families. Some families could actually be a little bit more than a problem, like with money. Like they might be on the brink of divorce because the husband's never there. The wife would be probably telling the husband that you're always gone, blah, 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 I found somebody else, So we're taking all this risk to feed our families, but we're not even making enough. Like, this is becoming like a job. This is not a job. Like, this is a business investment, and all we're doing is basically we're working as a job. And some of us, some drivers, they start thinking even worse than us. They'll think, oh, they were making, for instance, $9 an hour. Oh, but this is making me $13 an hour. Oh, it's worth it for me. Well, it's not worth it. Because if you're just calculating your fuel expenses that you made a little bit extra money or whatever, it does not work like that. This business, if you really calculate everything, I'll tell you this, guys, straight off the bat. You stayed this long, let me tell you this quick little numbers. I already did calculations, so I already know what they are. Per year, us 5-cylinder Sprinter owners, we're basically spending between $18,500 and $18,500 to $22,500. We're spending on fuel, depending on the fuel economy, which is a little bit mixed. We are spending that much on fuel. The Sprinters owners with 6-cylinder engines, they are spending $30,000 per year just in fuel. So then if you're spending, $6,000 on insurance every single year, which would be the majority of you, add that to the mix. And some of you guys are spending as much as $12,000 to $13,000 per year in insurance. Add that to the mix. So if you got a 6-cylinder Sprinter, now you have the insurance on top of that. If you got the worst case scenario, you spend about $43,000 just in fuel and insurance. Then you take tolls into the mix, then your phone expenses, your oil maintenance and stuff, just oil changes. Oil alone, if you're going to be changing your oil yourself, you're going to need to do one oil change a month, sometimes two. One oil change for a Sprinter, just an oil, could be easily $80. If you're going to have a dealer do it, that's $200, $250. Let's just say the dealer does it for $200. Well, in a year, that's the $2,400 just in oil changes. Then you got to take a transmission fluid change, radiator fluid change, brakes and stuff like that. Then you have to buy brakes, buy tires, sometimes once or 2 times a year. Guys, all this stuff adds up. And then really when you look at it, you're like, whoa, what am I really left here? You're not left with much. Let me tell you something else. This year I did my taxes. You know how much IRS are letting us write off per mile? 54 cents. Why are they letting us write off 54 cents? Do the math. At 54 cents, they're letting us write it off. Then you're doing a load for 65 cents. What are you really making? 9 cents? Because 54 isn't expenses? Sure, you might not see all these numbers and it might not be that clear. But ultimately, IRS already knows you're spending way too much money to operate. And IRS, they're not going to give their money away. They want their money. So they're not going to be giving away their money, for free, so you're not going to be like paying your taxes or whatever. They already know the expenses that you will incur because it is all these algorithms and stuff that makes your decision, because there's vehicle depreciations involved, there's vehicle maintenance, there's vehicle breakdowns, and the more years that progresses, the more problems you have. Plus you have car payments and stuff. Sure, maybe you just got a Sprinter and you didn't feel it the first year, you didn't feel it the next. By the third year, you're going to be having still payments, still breakdowns, still service, still fuel, and tires and brakes and everything else. And then you're going to realize, well, I guess I'm not making that much money. So you have to think about the stuff ahead of time. Work for the right price to begin with, so that you're not going to be left out. So you're going to make good money. So you're going to feel good about yourself. Who's going to feel good about themselves? Like, you leave to work and you work like 3 weeks. Out of those 3 weeks, maybe you were sitting for 1 week, you were not even working. And the 2 weeks that you were working, you were barely working. And then your wife calls you up, or you call your wife or whatever, and you're like, man, I didn't even make no money. Like, I'm pretty sure some of you guys have that situation. And your wife will be like, what was going on? Well, there was no loads. Well, there was this, there was that. So if the companies are not finding loads, guys, work for many of them, or just find one really good one. That's the solution. So it's important to stay with a good company. So once you find a good company like the one that I work with, it's a good company. They've been tested and tested again. I've been working with them for a very long time. Sure, they're making a lot of money on me, because I'm not getting no fuel surcharge. So I'm getting 80 cents flat fee. That's it. No fuel surcharge, no extra stop offs. Sometimes I don't get deadhead, sometimes I do. And whatever else that they bid on top of that, the companies are really making good. That's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to look at their budgets or trying to whatever care. But in a way, I see the opportunity for myself. I'm like, look, if I don't like it, or if I want to do the changes, then might as well open up my own company. So if you guys feel the same way, then open up your own authority. It's just gonna cost $300. Open it up and start building your credit history with for your authority. You're gonna need to build up it's a 100-point type of system. So start bidding a load here and there. The very first year, I'm telling you this right now, it's gonna be almost pointless. You're not even gonna feel that you're a company. You're gonna be barely getting your freight. So obviously you're gonna need to work with other companies to keep loaded, to make sure you're gonna keep making money. So along with this information, don't quit your day job. Continue doing what you're doing, but bid yourself some loads here and there so you can start growing. I'm going to have a bigger video on this at a later point that's going to explain all the ins and outs, all the little things that you will care about, that you might have questions in this video. So that video is not made yet, and this video is pretty fresh, by the way. So any kind of questions that you have about this, or if you're interested in doing this, write to me in the comments below as much as possible. So I'm going to take all those little notes, I'm going to put them in my video as well. That way I could answer all your questions and I could tell you all my information, what I have. One thing I will tell you, in case some of you guys are thinking a little bit of a different type of mindset, you might be thinking, man, why would you tell everybody the secrets, how to do this themselves? It's going to be less work for us. No, there won't. By this situation, I did not create any more drivers. I did not. Whatever amount of drivers that there was, and this business is already simple enough to get into, those drivers are still there. Here's what I did do give is driver freedom. Yes, I'm not gonna win any favors from expediting companies, but I don't want to. Who cares about that? Do you think the expediting company you work for will care for you when you can't pay your bills because they didn't give you enough loads that month? No, they won't. So I don't want to sound like an a-hole here, but they don't care for us. Why should we? We should care for us as the expediters and stand up for each other to try to help each other out. That's what I'm doing with my channel, to try to help us make more, so we're gonna feel good about doing this job. Because some of us love to do what we do. I love what I do. I've been doing this for 11 years, and time again I would think about becoming my own company, and I would change my mind because I have many other interests like cars, becoming a dealership, building and stuff like that, construction. A lot of stuff interests me, as you guys can tell. But I'm all about getting paid the right amount of money, what you're worth. And this job takes a lot of risk. A lot of us die on this job, and might as well get paid good while we're doing it. So I did not create any more drivers than there were, but I did give drivers freedom of having a choice to try to open up their own company. It's only going to cost $300. You're already paying expensive insurance. Might as well make some of that money back. Sure, by us doing that, some companies will not be able to benefit from us because sometimes we're going to be loading ourselves. If we are contractors, we're going to load ourselves, so they're going to make less money in the process, and you're going to make full amount of money. If you want to work for $1, you're going to work for $1. You want to work for $1.20, you're going to work for $1.20. You want to work for $1.40, there's loads for $1.40. $1.70, there's loads for $1.70. And some of us, if you stay this far, this is a plan that I'm doing. This is something I'm working on. I'm working on like a membership type of thing that I'm going to create myself. It's kind of like a association for expediters. Sure, there's already some. I have a totally different take on everything, like I always do. You guys could join this little organization that I'm going to create, and we as drivers are going to get the buying power for tires, for maintenance, for insurance, which is important. Maybe we could even work something out for fuel to try to pay less, because we're stronger together. We could be like part of this one organization, and we could also bid loads and win them because we're going to look like we're a bigger company. And all this, I'm not going to really explain how I'm going to get into this. Do this in this video, because that's going to be a completely different video, and it's pretty involved. So that is something I'm working for the future. So eventually, and again, like, this is something else that I'm doing. Like, I'll have my own expediting company, of course. If you open up your own authority and you say, well, Serge or Zimaleta, whatever you want to call me, I don't care. Either one of these names will work. You're going to say, Serge, I open up my authority and I'm not getting the loads that I want to get. Can I work with you for now and bid for my own loads? I'm going to say, sure. Let's work together. And I'll load you, and of course on the price that we agree on. And you could be loading yourself at your free time, like at your convenience. So while you're growing, I'm growing, and you're growing, and once you feel like you could manage your own loads or you want to open up your own company, go ahead. I have nothing against that. I'm 100% for it. So, I would like to be the source to help every expediter out to make the right amount of money, to fix the sprinters for as little as possible, but to have really good operational sprinter or any other van. But I really don't fix other vans, so I'm a big Mercedes fan. I always like Mercedes brand. I like Audi brand as well, but they don't have any vans, so that's unfortunate. Otherwise, I would be driving an Audi right now, because I've been driving Audis all my life. But that's besides the point. I don't want to get off track, but this video has came to an end. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think, and if you have ideas based on some of this information that I just spread, and you want to say like, hey, I have this idea, we could do this or we could do that, put it in the comments below, because I'm thinking, hey, let's put our brains together, let's have a big brainstorming discussion, and kind of like, I don't even know like what to call, we could have like a think tank group, Expediters think tank group. We could, once we all join one organization that I'm going to create, You could be part of it, or you might, you know, not want to be. But it's besides the point. But I'm here to stay on YouTube. Might as well use my recognition and popularity to do something good with it, to try to help out the drivers, to bring the community together, and to try to, you know, get us to have the buying power that we deserve with whatever we need to get. Insurance is going to be the most important one. Fuel, probably not as important, but maybe we could have some kind of deal with truck stops or some other gas stations where we say, look, if we fuel up at your gas stations, you know, can we get a discount? Even 1 penny. I mean, look, truck stops, they're only giving you like 1 point, which is 1 penny for fueling up per gallon. So sort of getting that 1 penny back. I've seen some give as much as 5 cents back. So, you know, that's I guess, something we have to all realize. That's definitely something I'm going to be working on, and I see nothing but the good for the future. So if you guys like this video, you want to see more videos like this, please hit a like, and please share this video. Share with other Expediters. Talk to all you know, your friends at the truck stops and say, hey, look at this guy. He's got something good to say, and probably together we could put our minds together and we could actually come up with something good for ourselves and actually start making good money for a change. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. God bless you. Best of luck to you guys. Bye-bye.